Well, hello and welcome to Community Forum. My name is Roy Cohen. I'll be hosting this week's show. And we have some special guests on today from the organization called Keep Stoughton Beautiful, which I never knew existed until very recently, and they're doing a great job. And if I might, I'd like to introduce the panel. On my left is Ana Gomes-DaCosta. Then we have Mike Varner, and then we have Pam Carr. Welcome everybody to the show. Why don't we get off to a quick start and talk about the organization, how long it's been in existence. We can start with that question. Ana?
Of course. Thank you for having us, Roy.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. We all started back, I believe, back in June. We had the idea, we were out at Ames Pond and we saw a lot of junk accumulating throughout the town and throughout Ames Pond. And so we reached out to a friend that we kind of knew through town who we thought would have a hand in some of the cleanup events in the town. And at that point, there was nothing organized. So there was a little time lapse, maybe about a month or two before she got back to me. And then she, in turn, started reaching out to some people that she thought would have a hand in that situation. So then, in turn, she reached out, I believe, to Pam and Michael, and we've come together and we've organized our group.
Excellent.
Yes.
And so you're out there, you pick a spot.
We are out there, yes, we pick a spot. We are getting ideas from the community, just even from living here and being out in town. We have our trouble areas that we see, and we try and organize our groups from there. We started off our first event, I believe it was June. We had a decent turnout for that event, but from there we organize our groups, we send them out to trouble areas that we see around town, and we pick up from there.
What do we need to help solve that problem besides people picking up? Do we need more trash barrels? Do you work with the Public Works on those solutions?
That would be a great start, to have more trash containers. I think a big part of it too is awareness. People kind of drive through our town, they see trash on the ground, and I think that they think that it's okay to just throw things on the ground, and that's, it kind of accumulates from there. But the DPW has helped us out. They supply us with our bags, our picker-uppers. After an event, we drop off all our trash and our bags to their door, and they kind of discard it from there. So they've been a big help with us in formulating our plan. But pretty much we just got our group together, and we organize little mini groups from our events. We send them around town, and that's what we do.
I think what you're doing is excellent. It's a great idea.
Thank you.
I'm on the road daily in different cities and towns throughout the state, and there are areas that are really loaded with trash. People just they just throw things out the window and without regard to what they're really doing. Even as small as cigarette butts, I guess that's considered to be trash or littering when you're throwing a cigarette butt out the window.
Indeed.
Or when you're walking and you put out a butt on the ground, or on the beaches for that matter.
That's true. That is a big part of it, is the cigarette butts pretty much everywhere, and they're hard to clean up.
Everybody's wearing the gloves and stuff.
Yes, wearing those gloves help clean up.
We have gloves, we have safety vests,
yes.
And as Ana mentioned, the DPW has provided us with bags as well as the spike picker-uppers, so that we don't have to touch anything. And we make sure that we coach everybody who comes to let them know about safety while you're out there doing things. And one of the other main things is if anybody finds anything that's like a needle or something, to not touch it. We actually have little orange flags and orange duct tape that they can mark the location. And the police department has been very good with us about, if we find anything like that, we can just contact them and then they will come and collect us for us. So, we also do try to focus on keeping our participants safe, very much so.
Well, that's good. I was going to ask you about if you find needles, because that's a major problem in some areas.
Yep.
How about signs? Do you have signs that are being utilized to keep Stoughton clean, that you can put up on trees or poles or throughout the town? Make people aware of the fact that you want to keep the town clean?
Yeah, right now we have 2 banners that we use at our events, kind of 2 big banners, but we don't have any of the kind of like the yard signs, I think is what you're probably referring to.
Yeah, sure.
We don't have any of those right now. One of the things is that, as Ana mentioned, this was kind of a group that came together kind of in a kismet, accidental kind of way. I work on the beautification committee with Friends of Stoughton Center, and this has been an aspect of beautification that I've wanted to get into. But they are very focused on the plantings. Michael started a group on his own called Clean Up Stoughton a few years ago that didn't quite get to the level that he wanted it to. And so somehow we all found each other and realized that we all wanted to do this. And now that we've kind of come together, we can do that. But we're working right now, 0 funding, 0 budget. We haven't spent a dime to do this, which is another important thing to show. With the exception of advertising so that people know who we are and what we're doing, it doesn't take any money to clean up after yourself or to clean up after someone else, which is important.
What have you done so far that we can see the improvements? What type of projects have you been working on?
Well, I think we have a few pictures that can go up that show some of our cleanups. This picture is from our first cleanup back in June, which was we located ourselves at a check-in point at the train station. And then as groups came in, we supplied them with everything that they needed for the day. We gave them a map and kind of sent them to different areas around the downtown. So this group, or this day, focused mainly on the train station, some of the streets behind the train station headed down towards by Trackside Plaza, summer, winter, spring, those streets there, as well as up to the center and up and down 138. So really kind of focused on that kind of backside Wyman Street Center. This is another photo. I believe this was from our second cleanup, which was in July, where we actually had our check-in point at Price Right, who supported us with a donation for some water and other supplies like that. And so that, again, it was kind of the hub there, and it kind of spoked out, cleaned around that area, especially up and down 138. And then this picture, actually, that's myself on the left here, and Rick Hill from the Finance Committee on the right talking. This is one that we actually based ourselves right in front of the old Pacheco Hardware building, next to the Universalist Church. So we just had our table set up there, so we'd be right in Stoughton Center. So this one really concentrated on 138 and those streets right in there. And when you talk about the cigarette butts, this was actually me on that island for about 2 hours doing nothing but sweeping cigarette butts out of the crevices of that island. And that's how long it took. And I had a broom and I was doing it, but it was almost a 2-hour project to get just that one area. So I think sometimes people don't think this one little thing will make a difference. It all adds up. So this is from our most recent cleanup too. So
is there a vacuum type setup that you can utilize? I'm just thinking a truck with vacuum or some kind of a vacuum system. We don't have to pick up butts.
I think this time it was easier. I found if I broomed it in to a pile and then just used a good old-fashioned dustpan, it was easier. Picking up one by one is difficult. Is there such a thing as a vacuum truck that does that? I have no idea. So
we'll have to put our heads together.
I was like, I know,
one.
yeah.
Make one.
But and then the last picture that you saw there, as Anna mentioned, the DPW has been great supporters of us. That was actually her husband's truck full of all the trash bags that we collect. We then just bring them down to the DPW and they allow us to leave them right out there, so we don't have to worry ourselves personally about disposing of that much trash. So that, literally right there, what you see is trash that was just picked up from a 2.5-hour period, just from Stoughton Center and kind of spoking out down 138, down Park Street or whatever, but no more than a quarter to a half a mile far out from the center.
That's unbelievable.
And so, when you get down to it, there's a lot out there because unfortunately, many people don't think before they throw this one thing. And then when that's out there, then it looks like, hey, it's okay to throw it out there, which I think Anna alluded to. Even
though I saw in the truck that you had a bicycle.
We find all kinds of crazy things out there on the road.
Pick it up and put it in the truck.
All sorts of interesting things.
That's amazing. That's an awful lot of trash that you picked up there.
Yeah.
In that short period of time.
Yeah. And I think one of the most important things, too, is not only to be cleaning up the streets on the day that we're doing it, but kind of trying to be visible and encourage people to, one, not cause this problem in the first place, but two, that it doesn't need to get it to the point where you're cleaning up 42 bags. If you just went out and picked up in front of your own house or in front of your own business once a day, things like this wouldn't build up as much. So we're kind of hoping that get people to realize that there's a recurring benefit to just putting a small effort in consistently.
Well, that's good work. I think you need to have a constant reminder. I think somehow along the line you ought to plan on having signs made and put them up. They don't have to be that big, not as big as the ones you see posted in yards these days, but just reminders on trees or on poles, keep Stoughton clean. And if people see that enough, maybe they'll feel guilty about throwing that piece of paper or that cigarette butt out the window.
Right.
That is our hope, that people start to see and want to contribute and help us keep Stoughton beautiful.
Psychological warfare.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what you have to do. You have to conduct it.
Use the guilt in it for positive.
That's it. So you've done a lot of different areas and streets. You have a lot of people that are joining in the effort with you?
We have a pretty good group that shows up each event. And if we have an event scheduled, for example, from 11:30 to 2:30, you're not required to come for the entire thing. You can come during whichever point you want. But one of the groups that we consistently have each cleanup, which is one of my favorite parts of this, is that Michael brings students and families from his martial arts studio, his business in town, and he gets the kids involved. And I think that's a great, just a great benefit and something that is one of the more fun things to see in town, but also I think the businesses, when they see them, have really responded. So Michael can probably talk more about, getting the younger generation involved.
I just thought I was the smiley face of the group.
The prettiest one.
But before I get to that, just in response to your question about the vacuums.
Yeah.
So yeah, that has come up about getting these cigarette butts up. It's crazy. So we look to the advice of the businesses in town and people that are in our community that could actually give us some helpful tips in regards to equipment that we could use to expedite this and make it a safe process of getting these cigarette butts. Because that's always been my peeve. And that's actually what prompted me to start what I did do 5 years ago, was these cigarette butts all over the ground. And then eventually going to the town hall and talking to the building department and having them involved, and then mentioning the signs as well.
Yeah.
Have spoken to the town hall people who have been very, very proactive in helping us and giving me some information as to how to get those signs and properly display them in town properties. So it's a joint effort. So yeah, we do ask that if there's anybody who's watching that has knowledge about helping us with these cigarette butt issues and getting them up off the ground quickly and safely, please let us know.
I think that if you were to make signs like the political signs, I'll bet there's a lot of people in town who would encourage you to post them in their front yards.
Financially, we're starting off with nothing. So
Okay,
it's
so
all
you
been
need to
volunteer.
raise money, obviously.
We need to raise money somehow. It's not what we're here for today, but we just want to promote ourselves out there. But the sign issue has come up. We've gotten a couple banners donated to us from Express Signs and Graphics in Stoughton. They've donated a couple of nice big signs for us. So we put them up for the event. It's kind of too big to put out there for everyday use, but we have explored the options of putting out the yard signs. But it's a financial part of it that we don't really have in
Okay, what
control
about,
right now.
have you approached scouts to get involved, maybe for a merit badge type of setup?
We have. We've reached out in all of our cleanups. Anyone is encouraged, and we always encourage the community groups. The first cleanup that we had in June, we had 2 or 3 Girl Scout troops show up. We had at least 1 or 2 students from the high school who were looking to fulfill community service hours for perhaps student council or National Honor Society. So that's definitely something that we encourage. The more people that we have, the more areas we can cover during any given time. We can reach out to these groups, but also if any of these groups are watching this or here, they are also welcome to reach out to us so that they can get on either our alerts or our event alerts so they can make sure that they're invited to these events. One of the things that's more difficult about, there's our information there. So we're on Facebook at Keep Stoughton Beautiful, and our email address, kabstoughton@gmail.com. one of the more difficult things when you're operating with a zero budget is advertising. We had somebody at our last event ask, I didn't hear about this, why isn't it in the penny saver? Well, that's another goal, to get more word out of here. Facebook, we've been able to do kind of free word of mouth, doing shows like this. Thank you to SMAC, we can get the word out there. But as we grow and we want it to grow, we will obviously be looking to increase our operating budget as well.
Okay, that's
And to answer your question now about the kids, all right? So you asked about you brought up about the students getting involved, is that they are pivotal in this because they are the future.
right.
Right? They're the future. They're the ones that are going to carry this on. So by bringing them out to these events and seeing what it is that they're doing and knowing that they're doing it, here's an example. We went to Advanced Auto, and that's the manager in the back. He came out. He wanted to meet the kids. We went to Morel's Barbecue. Actually, he called us. We were walking down 138 cleaning up, and he called us over, and he wanted to show his love for what the kids were doing, and actually gave them a little hot dog hamburger barbecue afterwards. And this was at the train station. This is when we were gathering to go out. But just from them going out and witnessing this trash, it has kind of repulsed them as to see how nasty. And I know I'm caught on this whole cigarette thing, but these kids are now telling their parents, like, I can't believe people smoke. It's so disgusting, just by being part of it. And they're not going out and being rewarded for doing so. They're going out. Their reward is knowing that they're doing the right thing, that this is the right thing to do. And people in the community are showing their love for them by embracing them and welcoming them into their businesses. One being Morel and the other being the Sonic. They have expressed their desire to want to show their appreciation and have come out to the streets and said, would you please come in so we can give the kids a treat?
Got to get it to the point where the kids who are sitting in a car see their parents opening the window to throw something out. They got to say to parents, don't do it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And then they won't do it themselves either.
And they won't do it themselves. I'm thinking ahead, beyond what you're doing to the oceans. The oceans, I'm reading, are becoming so terribly polluted with plastics and everything else because of improper disposal. And even from the earthquake that happened over in Japan, now we're starting to see the effects washing up on the beaches of the West Coast, all the way up to Alaska.
Yeah, there's an island in the Gulf, right? So it's where all the ocean streams of the world come and meet.
Yeah.
And there's an island of plastics, and I believe it may be, correct me if I'm wrong, we can fact check this, Google it, but it's miles across, tens and tens of feet deep. It's all plastic, and it's gyrating, and it's breaking up. And the fish that are plankton eaters are eating this, thinking that it's nutrition.
Yeah.
And it's just the complete ecosystem has been tainted. And then you want to talk about not only earthquakes or the fallout there that they had over in Japan. All that nuclear waste now. It's a crazy toxic world that we live in. And with 8 billion people coming into play.
Yeah.
And only getting greater, we have to do our part. And we just can't stop doing our part, or this world will, strangle itself toxic-wise.
So we are trying to think globally yet act locally and do what we can do on this.
Yes.
And part of it is picking up the trash. The second part is not creating as much trash.
Right.
Which is a whole nother show we could get into another time.
Right. This is like the beginning, and it needs to go to the world. But I commend you for what you're doing, and I encourage you to get the publicity out. Utilize SMAC. Maybe the penny saver, when they have extra space, they can put in something like just a small, regular Keep Stoughton Clean ad.
Yeah.
Just as filler. I notice you're using Facebook.
Yes.
Just get the word out.
Yeah. So speaking of getting the word out, we do have a graphic for our upcoming
Okay.
cleanup. We have one more event coming up this year, which is November 4th. It's a Saturday this time. Our other events have been on Sundays. This one is going to be 11 to 2. This is going to be the last cleanup that we do before winter. And this one is going to be held, our starting point, or our home base is actually going to be at Morel's Barbecue. As Michael mentioned, the last time they were out there walking by with the kids, Morel saw what the kids were doing and was very impressed with them and actually invited them back for a lunch. So we reached out to him to say thank you for that, and he said, what else can I do? Wanting to be really involved in part of the community and helping part of the community helping keep things clean. So we're going to have kind of the kickoff meeting point there, and Michael is doing most of the arranging with Morel on that one. But there is a Facebook event that we will be promoting ASAP, where people can come and get more information about that. But if you have more to tell about
we just
that
invite
event,
everybody. We want the community to come out. It's the community meeting each other, becoming friends. A community reaching out beyond its borders to the next town. And so you start with the community, we change our state, we change our country, we change the world. So we ask that anyone come out. We're going to have barbecue, or we're going to be grilling, music. Yep.
Did I hear you say you were going to have Jeff Pickett in there cooking?
Yeah, so
Jeff doesn't know it yet.
Jeff doesn't know it, but he's going to be our honorary DJ.
Uh-huh.
And if you can't come out and walk the streets and clean up, we just ask you to come and be part of the event. Meet and greet, meet the people of the community, the businesses meet one another, fellowship, people becoming friends. And if you want to come out and spend an hour to clean up.
And that's going to be over at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yep, it'll go from 11 to 2.
So after 2 o'clock you can go and rest, and then that night go to the roast.
There you go.
Yes.
There's going to be a roast at the VFW, which you'll find interesting, I think. I'm just thinking again about a couple of years ago, we had the major snowstorms. They were coming week after week after week. The city of Boston was having a tough time finding places to get rid of the snow. You would think that they would dump it into the ocean, but they couldn't do it because what they were picking up besides snow was trash. Mm-hmm. And if they threw the snow into the ocean, there's pollution.
Correct.
So that's why they had to go find snow farms. Mm-hmm. And you should have seen the mess when those things dried up or melted away. It's true. I mean, it's got to be a worldwide or nationwide or town-wide effort to stop doing it.
Right.
Use the trash barrels. And start to keep our world, be proud of our world, keep it clean.
Yep. There are definitely more trash barrels in downtown, in Stoughton Center, and highly walked areas is definitely a good idea.
Yeah.
And so that's something that has come up. I know you brought it up earlier. It's come up in other conversations that people have had. And so, we have a lot of plans for the future.
Yep.
So that's
You'll
on
let
the
us know
list.
what it is, and we'll get you guys back on to talk about them some more.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a short break and put on the messages that we normally run to your information.
Hi, it's Gary LaPierre, and the crew wants to thank Maxie's Delicatessen. That's at 117 Sharon Street in Stoughton. They're 781-341-1662. American Cancer Society, yes, they're looking for volunteers. Drive cancer patients to and from their treatments. 1-800-ACS-6662, or just go to www.cancer.org. Ilsa Mark's Food Pantry in St. Anthony's Free Market, 2 Park Avenue in Stoughton. For more information, call Christine Gallagher. That's at 781-341-0611 or 781-341-0549. Meals on Wheels. Just ask for Jessica. You'll find her at 781-344-8882, extension 2. Stoughton Penny Saver. Our business is advertising your business, they tell us. 27 Rose Glen Street, Stoughton, 781-344-4833. Community Forum showtimes in Stoughton. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 p.m., Monday at 8 p.m., Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 28. All comments and suggestions welcome. Contact us at communityforum1@yahoo.com. Samaritans, they're at 41 West Street on the 4th floor in Boston, 02111. Their phone number is 617-536-2460. 24-hour helplines for Samaritans, and the number is 877-870-HOPE. That's 877-870-4673. Samaritans, you can find them at 800-252-TEEN. That's 252-8336. Or find them online at SamaritansHope.org.
We want to remind you about the Hometown Business Show. This is a show where we highlight various businesses that we want to tell you about. The show is seen on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock, Wednesdays at 5:30, Thursdays at 8 p.m., and Sundays at 7 p.m., both on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon 28. Another new show on SMAC is We Are United for a Healthy Stoughton. Mondays at 5 p.m., Tuesdays at 9 a.m., Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m., Friday at 11 a.m., Comcast Channel 9, Verizon 28. Monday Night Bingo at the Ahava Congregation, 1179 Central Street in Stoughton. Doors open at 4:30. Games start at 6:30. And next week, the prizes, there are two major prizes. One is $1,199, and the other one is for $3,000. If you get the numbers, if you fill up your card within a certain numbers, you have a chance of winning that money. Come on down. As a matter of fact, I'll be starting the games this Monday night, so you can come down and see Roy in action. Get Fresh's Stoughton's own cooking show. New episodes are in the works. Comcast Channel 9, Verizon 28, Monday 5:30 p.m., Wednesdays at 8 p.m., Thursday at 9 a.m., Friday at 5 p.m. It's a great show. You can learn how to cook. I even saw the kids on there one day, and I tried to make what they were doing there. It didn't come out too good, though. Keep Stoughton Beautiful. Visit them on Facebook at Keep Stoughton Beautiful, or email cabstoughton@gmail.com, and you can explain what cab means, that everybody will understand it. What's CAB?
CAB is for Keep America Beautiful, which is a larger organization that, if we continue on this path, we hope to align with them.
That sounds great. Okay, you got some thank yous you want to...
I do. I just want to make sure that we thank the DPW for all that they've given us, Chief McNamara and the Stoughton Police Department for being so helpful with our calls about the cleanups and the needles. Sonic, Morels, and Price Right for donating food and drink to our workers. Express Graphics, who donated banners to us. Everyone who shares our posts on Facebook, because Facebook and word of mouth is our only way, and everyone who shows up to pick up trash. Thank you.
And a quick thank you while we're at it to Mike, Jeff, Gina, and CJ for helping to put this show together. It's Roy Cohen saying thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it and get involved.